Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today. It's the man they call Meathead. It's Linda Kay. It's Matthew Thomas. We come from all around the country, and we gather on Monday mornings just to talk to you. How you guys doing today, Linda?
Doing tremendous, as always. Had a traveling weekend, and I was busy. I am that dubbed road warrior.
There you go, the road
PWR
warrior.
Today weekly. So I'm good, though.
Good. Matthew
On
Thomas.
that road to WrestleMania, you know what I mean?
Explain your shirt to us, Matthew.
Put
it on the glass.
I just put this in I put this in the washing machine the other day with some colors that weren't supposed to go together.
So what you're saying is that was a Hanes tighty whitey, and now it's whatever you got going on today.
Yes, it is. But I do understand that if I wear this in the right parts of the country at the right time, I'll get some free balloons.
You are the Bill Walton of PWR. Hey, Matthew, the reason I bring up your clothing is Linda's got on her sponsor. I've got on our sponsor. And Matthew, I want you to tell us about what I'm wearing.
Yeah, this could have been in a collar and elbow shirt at one time, but due to some bad washing hygiene, ended up like this. But what you're talking about, Meathead, is collarandelbowbrand.com is where you want to go to see what you can pick out of the virtual online collar and elbow brand catalog. Collarandelbowbrand.com, enter promo code LindaK, LINDAKAY, saves you 10%. And I strongly advise you not to wash your collar and elbow garments at a discount laundromat. It's not going to turn out good for anybody. But speaking of collar and elbow, the proprietor of that, Al Snow.
Uncle Al.
You guys don't know this. I haven't told you this off the air, but I had a dream last night where Al, Dave, and Cal and myself were all at a dine-in Pizza Hut. That's right. Eating some pizza at a dine-in Pizza Hut. They're very, very far and few between now.
Well, as weird as that is, I saw Uncle Al a bunch of times on A&E's documentary, not this last Sunday, but Sunday prior, when we were talking about Kane. Linda Kay, while you tell us about the sponsor, I'll get ready my Al story and how much we love Uncle Al.
Well, first of all, Matthew, that shirt, that could have possibly been a fusion of Dude Love.
There's no red in there, but
style, yes. However, as you mentioned, Meathead, I am sporting a very comfy zip-up hoodie from Pro Wrestling.
Right on the glass. There you go.
I think it's on there. So, as always, we advise you, if you would like to find out how you can save money should you be injured, not just in the wrestling ring, because pro wrestling insurance is available, believe it or not, to anybody. Yeah, we have the ProWrestlingInsurance.com as we do cater, specifically to pro wrestlers and event promoters, but anybody can get that affordable coverage by visiting our friend Chris. If you go to ProWrestlingInsurance.com, you can find out how you can get affordable supplemental coverage for as low as $8 a month to make sure you are covered if you get hurt. Because if you get hurt, there's the medical bills. And while regular health insurance might, help pay or lower those amounts, I should say, the supplemental coverage from ProWrestlingInsurance.com would send you a check to help offset the cost of the medical procedures that he had. Yeah. So we'll let the expert tell you a little bit more about that. So visit Chris at ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Also find out how you can get event coverage if you are a promoter planning a pro wrestling event, or for anybody, life insurance policies are available as well. ProWrestlingInsurance.com.
This might be a question for Chris, but I'll go ahead and ask you. Is it possible for me to get paid if I slip in PP?
If you slip on PP?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. It's if you
luck, you want to keep the hill. That's what happened. He went to Megalomart and slipped in PP and got like $150,000.
I mean, technically, I'll let Chris confirm that, but technically, if you get hurt from anything, like I have heard examples of or questions we've gotten in the past of somebody just walking, on the street. It doesn't necessarily have to be at your job. This is just protects you from any type of injury. So from what I understand, yes.
Wow. I mean, because when I was getting beat up this weekend by a 60-year-old, a mother and a son, during my sparring events, boy, I needed that supplemental coverage just for my embarrassment. Really. That's what I need. Does it protect hurt feelings is what I want to know.
If you can, yes, I feel if you look at it that way, it can. Yes, we're going to go with yes.
Fair enough. All right. So back to the Al thing. We all know Uncle Al. We all love Uncle Al. And, we know of his history, obviously, in ECW. We know of his history in WWE. He worked for Impact for a while. We know that he is the owner and proprietor, bless you, of OVW Wrestling. But did you know that he was in a tag team at Smoky Mountain with Kane, formerly known as Unabomb? Now, Al, being the Al Snow that we already know and love, apparently in any interview with Unabomb, kept trying to pop Kane, Unabomb, because he came dressed out as an S&M character, I guess. And there was one part of the interview I just lost my mind because we knew who Al is. It says, "What are we doing next? Well, we're going to go off and we're going to have a little, we're going to go get fancy here." You know what I mean? Al Snow, great to see him, by the way, on the interview because he was very heavy in that Kane A&E documentary. Loved it. Have you guys seen it yet? Have you seen the Kane one?
Parts of it, just because I don't have A&E quite as accessible due to my viewing.
Well, it's because you're on the road all the time. You don't have subscriptions
That too, yes.
all over the road. I mean, you have to get to a drive-in, White Castle or Waffle House that has A&E playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they're.
That's what they're known for, exactly. All right, let's get into a little bit of news here. Bray Wyatt, from all reports, looks like he may not be at WrestleMania. Remember, Bray Wyatt had said that he wanted the winner between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley winning that match, technically, because Brock Lesnar, being disqualified. Bray Wyatt, sideline. We haven't seen him in a little bit, and he's been sidelined with an illness. It is quite possible that Bobby Lashley does not have a dance partner for WrestleMania. Linda Kay, your thoughts on who it could be for Bobby if Bray Wyatt is not available?
We still have Uncle Howdy, the mystery of who he is, and if Bray Wyatt is indeed going to miss Mania, we'll have we have like 2 weeks left, just under 2 weeks, I should say, to get that story going and having a bit more Uncle Howdy out there to explain to us not just who he is, or we don't get that reveal yet, quite fully, but we get to find out a little bit more of who Uncle Howdy is in relation to Bray and what he might be stepping in as far as filling in some big shoes at Mania, if he indeed does get this one-on-one match with Bobby. Or do we now make this a triple threat so we can still get a little Bobby Brock action?
Well, Brock's got his match with Omos, so I mean that's going to happen there. And Matthew Thomas, we saw on Raw last week. Omos tried to, palm Brock Lesnar's skull, right, and then try to throw him out of the ring. But really, with Bray Wyatt being down with an illness, it doesn't look like he's going to make it to WrestleMania. I think Linda's got a great idea with Uncle Howdy. What else do you think could happen?
So, a couple of ideas here. I think you would get more attention to the Omos Brock match if you threw Bobby in there because people are still clamoring for some Bobby action with Brock.
Bobby's got a history there too.
Yeah, he does. The Uncle Howdy thing could be interesting. However, just doing the math in my head of like timelines and people overlapping a match that I think the fans would eat up, that people have been clamoring for years, that has happened along the lines of like Austin and Hogan, along the lines of Angle and Bret Hart.
Here we go.
Bobby Lashley versus The Rock at WrestleMania. That's right. Ooh. WrestleMania goes Hollywood. The Rock. Mm-hmm.
It won't happen. I mean, because obviously we need a bigger build than 2 weeks to bring in literally the number one action star in Hollywood. So
you have him have an open challenge, and he's like, "My name is Bobby Lashley," and the music hits, and he says, "It doesn't matter what your name is," and then he beats him for the title that Bobby Lashley wins between now and WrestleMania. Get me some points on the paper.
Oh. So you weren't speaking with your, intelligence side. You were speaking with your PWR fantasy draft side. By the way, folks, we have 2 more events. Well, 3 really. I mean, if any WWE superstars or AEW superstars show up at the NXT takeover, that's going to happen. I think it's Saturday morning, correct? Is that another one of those Saturday morning pay-per-views, like at noon?
It's Stand and Deliver. I believe it's 11 Central, but it's like 9
a.m.
8:30 doors
on the West Coast. Yeah,
something like that.
Wake up, body slam. I mean, that's literally how it's going to be. Well, we've got those 3 events, and let's go over to totals again while we've got it in front of us brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Well, Matthew Thomas, we'll mention you first because, I mean, this is the last time you're going to be talked about in the lead. Matthew Thomas has 3,265 points.
That's good.
In absolute dead last. Right ahead of Matthew Thomas is Linda Kay at 3,760 and leading going into the final event, the final weekend. The man they call Meathead, 4,025 points. Anything can happen. Titles can change hands. People could show up. Things can happen. But get my crown ready because I'm going to be the Wiz because nobody beats the Wiz.
Can I bring up?
Can you dance like that? Keep going.
Yes, I just saw something I thought about that I found quite interesting that we found out on Friday during SmackDown, that there is the fatal 4-way tag team tournament or competition match that's going to be in place. At least didn't they say men and women's, which kind of confused me because Usos the title, but I know they said both, as we did see. I know we didn't talk. We'll get into SmackDown, but I thought about other ways where other members of Team Long Time, who I thought maybe wasn't going to get a headlining or a marquee match at WrestleMania, might now at least get a match at Mania. And one other thing to mention, if Uncle Howdy is indeed there, remember there, we haven't seen Alexa Bliss, so there's something there, as well as the rumors of the other person that we've been seeing the vignettes, who that could be as well. So we'll see. But I have some hope and some faith, Meathead, that this might definitely come down to the wire head-to-head on night 2, and we'll see.
So
I have it so too. Yep. Go ahead, Matthew.
About the wording there, is this a title match or is this a contendership match at the pay-per-view? I was a little bit confused there.
Who knows? What we need is the Usos and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, one-on-one as a tag match.
It's hard to imagine them throwing other people in that.
Yeah, because with the women's match, I mean, the tag team champions are a part of the 6-woman tag, so it must be maybe a night after Raw they get their title shot or something.
Who knows?
It's all Raw after Mania, excuse me.
Yeah, the Raw after Mania. It's all convoluted, so who knows? But let's talk about the WWE Road to WrestleMania. Linda, they were through our town. Mm-hmm. You weren't in town. I wasn't in town. Matthew was somewhere in Colorado. The WWE Road to WrestleMania did make its way through Milwaukee, Algonquin for the good land on the 18th. And here's what the house show looked like. We had Bianca Belair defeating Bayley, Chelsea Green, and Becky Lynch in a fatal 4-way. Bronson Reed defeats Johnny Gargano. Dominic Mysterio over Santos Escobar using his feet on the ropes for leverage. Now, Rhea Ripley and the rest of Legado del Fantasma were at the show in Fargo. So, it used to be a bigger deal that we talked about. You had the A show, the B show, you had the Raw show, you had the SmackDown show. They are running multiple shows. It's like, 7 different versions of the Blue Man Group traveling the country at the same time. So, Candice LeRae and Mia Yim defeat Dakota Kai and Io Sky. So, the women's tag team champions, are they still tag team champions? I mean, technically, they're getting beat by Candice LeRae and Mia Yim.
Well, I mean, it's Becky and Lita.
Yeah, that's right. I apologize. Becky and Lita. For some reason, I mentally thought that they still had the belts. Well, Candice LeRae and Mia Yim get win over Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Cody Rhodes defeats L.A. Knight. Yeah. With the Crossroads. Pre-match promo by L.A. Knight. Braun Strowman and Ricochet interrupting Maximum Male Models, who will get a new member. We saw him working out last week. It's Otis. Bobby Lashley defeats Baron Corbin. Bobby Lashley may be his path. Baron Corbin proposes that he and Lashley team up and dominate the tag team division. Lashley said, no, thank you. And then the main event, Austin Theory retains over Seth Rollins, in a great match. So, Linda, we missed one at the Fiserv. We'll have to catch the next one. Matthew, when is the WWE coming through your town?
Very soon. It might actually be next weekend now that I think about it.
Well, they were in Fargo, so that would make sense that they would dip down that way. So,
yeah.
Can I?
All right.
Sorry,
yes.
I saw on our local news, our local Fox affiliate on it might have been Thursday when I had the news on, and
WITI TV6 Milwaukee.
Yes, they had Bobby Lashley on via Skype, promoting, talking about that house show, and it was funny because when they asked about Bobby, this is Road to WrestleMania, what match would we have, and Bobby kind of had to like teeter on me. Well, I'm in a feud potentially with Bray Wyatt, and it was just funny because I was listening particularly like how is he going to word this? Because at that point, I mean, maybe he's something to know either, but it was kind of along the lines of like, I have something going on with Bray Wyatt, but that might happen still, and it's just interesting for us knowing like if there's some shenanigans or injury or something. But
I had all this supernatural stuff going on a few weeks ago, and it seems to have stopped. So I'm really not sure.
You know what would have been amazing is on WITI TV6 in Milwaukee, home of Albert the Cat. If they, while interviewing Bobby, the logo kept blinking on back and forth at Channel 6. That would have been amazing. We could have talked to Tim Van Voren and see if he could get it. Is Tom Pippen still around? Can he get that thing going?
No, he's not.
Vince Condella.
Double V, which, by the way, guys, I did intern with WITI Fox 6 Sports and News back in my college days, where I worked with Tom Pippins and Tim Van Voren.
Yep. Pip was in charge of everything. TVV was the next guy up, and what a great company over there. I remember way back in the day when they were CBS and they had Albert the Alley Cat, but I'm aging myself now. So let us move on and let us talk about everything that happened on Dynamite on Wednesday night from last week. Now, the show was in the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This crowd was amazing, right? They made this show even better than it already was. But let's go. Now, I have to confess, I'm not Jewish. Linda, I'm looking at you and I'm not sure, but are you Jewish?
I am not.
Okay. Matthew Thomas, are you Jewish? Matthew Thomas is so not Jewish, he didn't even answer.
No.
He shook his head.
I shook my head. I thought that was sufficient, but I'm not.
I didn't know there was such a thing called a rebar mitzvah. I've heard of a bar mitzvah, right? That's where a boy becomes a man. A rebar mitzvah. So MJF comes out in the pimpest of pimp hats. I love the hat. Comes out with the ladies. See this, am I nitpicking here? This is the difference, I think, between WWE and AEW. There was no coordination between the women and MJF. They didn't come out, like step by step by step. Like they just hired random performers. I don't know if they were workers or if they were, girls, part of, the train, which they've done where they hire, a couple girls from the area, but
part of the railway system.
This, they're from the railway system. They work for the government, but this bothered me a little bit. It just looked clunky to me. But I'll tell you what, though, what we saw in that ring, they didn't mention it enough. They talk about the 4 pillars. All 4 pillars were in that ring at each corner as well. MJF at the end says, yes, we are the 4 pillars. That's the future of the company right there, sitting in the ring. What an amazing promo, by the way, from Darby Allin. Matthew Thomas, start us off.
It felt fresh, and it felt like a mission statement from AEW.
It felt like Darby Allin talking.
That we have not seen in, a long time, if ever. Like this felt almost like a reset for AEW. Mm-hmm. It felt like them really just opening up and saying, hey, this is who we are. This is the 4 pillars. These are the 4 pillars. This is the brand. And it felt really, really good. It was the best shot in the arm that I've seen for AEW in a long time.
Jungle Boy says, and I quote, we could all sit back there and watch you take 20 minutes to do the same old hokey BS that you've been doing the last 4 years. This whole place revolves around you, and the first step to changing that is taking the title off of you. Sammy, you talk too much. MJF, Sammy, that's cute. Darby, Max, enough. It's my turn. And again, to hear Darby say this, my first day at pro wrestling school, I said, you're either going to make it as Darby Allin or you're going to fail as Darby Allin, but you're not going to change a thing. And that's what they said. They wanted Darby Allin. What a great promo. Again, I believed Darby Allin in this moment. I didn't look at his size. I didn't look at his body shape. I believed Darby Allin. So Linda Kay, where are we going here with the 4 pillars?
I'm already looking ahead at Double or Nothing, right? Or
that's the Vegas one. Yep.
Yeah, the May. Should be interesting because I mean, Darby just got off a great feud. Of course, Jungle Boy did, and Sammy kind of, doing his thing out. He still is a part of JAS, but kind of working on a lot of like single stuff. So, I mean, I think this is great. I, think so in depth is how you just put it. I'm like, yeah, that's really true. That is our future right there of AEW. And I loved how you mentioned it was like Darby was speaking, not doing a promo, just like telling everyone how it is and, how he came up to where he is and what he's looking to do as far as being a future champion at AEW.
He even had a joke. He even had a joke in there. He says, "You know what I'll do if you don't do it? I'm going to go complain on Twitter." Yeah. That was, wow, Darby Allin's got a sense of humor too. Hey, look at that.
I do want to circle back to something MJF said that actually makes a lot of sense when you stop and think about it. And I think AIDS and how fresh it felt the other night. You look at everybody besides MJF, they've more or less had a chaperone that they've been involved with the better part of a year and a half. Darby and Sting, you've got the Christian and Jack Perry. You have got Sammy as part of Jericho's stable. We really haven't gotten 3 of the 4 pillars on their own.
You know what MJF didn't mention though? You know who he had?
He had
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
No, he had
he had Wardlow.
Yeah.
But no, they're talking about established stars bringing them up.
I see.
So MJF couldn't mention it, but he had Cody with. I mean, he could have mentioned it because honestly, MJF is free to say whatever he wants. But he was the heel, and he wasn't going to mention Cody Rhodes.
But yeah, no, definitely. I don't know if we necessarily need like a fatal 4-way for title. Again, I'm looking further ahead here, but just something. We got some feuds brewing there, which is a unique way versus just one person stepping up. We have got 3 others
to compete at the next pay-per-view in a Punjabi pillar match.
Matthew Thomas. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the trios match. I normally wouldn't bring this up because it's just a match. That's a match. But trios of Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, and Stu, don't call me Dick Grayson. Stu Grayson, now All Elite again. Apparently, he had left the company. I wouldn't have known. Took on the Blackpool Combat Club of Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta. The reason I bring this up is because this is the first match of the night, and we're going to see it carry into the end of the night. But big match here, and really they are just going at it one after another. BCC retreats through the crowd as Silver and Reynolds ran down to the ring to save the rest of the Dark Order. Evil Uno getting jumped, while all these guys are getting just attacked. BCC looking like the heels in this particular one, Matthew.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch this. It felt actually a little bit awkward to me, to be honest with you. I would have rather seen a Moxley heel turn in and of himself than the whole stable.
I thought he was going fishing.
Yeah.
Why is he still here?
Speaking of house show results, I did see AEW had a house show a few days back, and the big news was Moxley got some color. Somebody ripped his earring out, so Moxley bled on a house show.
Ugh. Linda Kay, your thoughts of the BCC and the Dark Order going at it again?
I feel that there's already that slight shift. I mean, we see a lot of backstage vignettes. I mean, just thinking with Wheeler Yuta, just really stepping up, coming off more heel-ish.
Well, he's not a best friend anymore. He's got an attitude now.
Yeah, he seems like, I mean, of course, Mox is always wild and everything, but he's still...
Well, Claudio's a little aggressive, too.
Yeah. He's always a fan favorite, though. I think of all the Blackpool Combat Club, it's Wheeler Yuta that's really leaning more toward that heel direction. But as you just mentioned, we're seeing that play out on TV as well, where the whole Combat Club is kind of having heel behavior. But are they technically... officially?
No, they're just aggressive, that's all.
Yeah.
But Linda, we're going to stick with you, and I want to talk about, normally this might be one I might skim over too. Again, kind of awkward. Jade Cargill, she's got her baddie with her, Layla Gray, right, from OVW, and they don't have a synergy when they come out. Like, she hands her the jacket. I understand that because, she's that bitch, right? So she's got Layla Gray, hands her the jacket. The reason I mention his match is Jade yells out, "Is that all you got, Canada?" And it's the debut of Taya Valkyrie in Canada. Your thoughts on where we go here? Linda, I don't want to, hypothesize too far. I don't want to, have any bombastic predictions here, but is Taya Valkyrie the one to take the TBS championship off of Jade Cargill?
I find, due to obviously the many, many years Taya Valkyrie has been in the industry, that she could and she would be someone that I feel the crowd would be behind. But I think we need to see a little bit more feud between the two of them that's really built on this.
Yeah.
We know, well, maybe not everybody knows just all the accolades that Taya Valkyrie has. So let's see that. Let's have her. We didn't get to hear her speak yet, really, or anything like that. So I think if they stick with this and let it build, that it could actually happen at here we go, get it, Double or Nothing. Why not, right?
Okay, Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas, your thoughts on Taya Valkyrie debuting, and she is all elite.
Yeah, it's just good to see. I was a little bit disappointed that the Canadian Open Challenge was what it was. I know the big reveal was her, but basically, you're expecting this talent to premiere and have a competitive match with Jade, and it's an already in the ring individual, in a very, very quick match.
If it would have been Taya Valkyrie should have won. If she was, and now my opponent and it's Taya Valkyrie, she should have blown right over her.
I think her taking it off of Jade might make sense at first. However, I think with the way AEW is booking their women's division, there's no need for a secondary title. We average one women's segment a show, and this other title has to happen basically in this vacuum to the other women's division. You know what? I'm seeing a scenario now. I know there have been reports about Jade saying she'd like to go to Japan and spend some time in Japan. I think it might even make sense for Jade to just walk away with the title at this point. I really think they
just take that title with her.
Yeah. I just, basically saying, hey, nobody's ever beat me. I'm undefeated, because who at this point, when you have one segment a show or one women's wrestling match a show, it's like, hey, I want to go for that title. What's separating,
which title you want to go for?
Right? Exactly. So yeah,
well, I think let's mention this. And you speak of titles, the AEW All Atlantic title has been changed. It's now the International Championship, and the current All Atlantic champion, Orange Cassidy, took on the Last Outlaw, Jeff Jarrett, and the winner would become the AEW International Champion. Right? I absolutely loved this little detail that they did. Orange Cassidy comes out, pulls out his backpack, takes out the All Atlantic Championship, takes it takes the International off the stand, puts the All Atlantic on there. He rested that belt. I'll take the new belt, put it back in his bag, then rolled into the ring, and then pulled out the International Championship. The transition of that belt actually made sense to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I said this last week, but I think that you can potentially get more mileage out of Orange Cassidy by not having him wrestle every week.
You think he's burnt out.
Yeah. Gimmick is so entertaining. You just need to feature him. And I have a concern that the suspension of disbelief, when you see this guy with his gimmick wrestling every single week,
sometimes twice.
Yeah, it could potentially wear. I mean, we've come a long ways. You're seeing more of Turbo Orange Cassidy than you used to. It used to be just, hands in the pocket. You only saw him get that extra gear every so often. We're getting that. He's coming out and wrestling more as an established wrestler.
He's the lead star now of that group.
Yeah, but in turn, I don't know if that's Orange Cassidy's gimmick.
Right. All right. Let's talk.
One more thing on
let's talk Linda.
Stuff.
Yep.
So if we relinquish the TBS championship in the women's division, but that takes away from TBS having their
name
TNT
on there.
championship.
Right.
Yeah. So something to think about. I honestly, I would love to still keep those two titles, but have it differentiated in the way that the men's TNT championship is, which means more women's matches or showing more meeting or something along the lines where you can still make it happen, because I guess, internally they probably want to keep their name on that title. But
right.
I mean, I get where AEW would want to make things different by making it like Jade's running with this, but
sure,
like you guys brought up a great point just now, making it seem like it is, a well-desired title in addition to the other women's championship.
I think they have the solution, though. If you want to keep that network synergy, TBS title goes away. You don't even have to have a tournament. You just you come out with the Turner Classic Movies title, the TCM title, and you crown the Vaudevillains the TCM. Right? It's perfect.
You're on fire today, Matthew.
They don't have to. Yeah.
Simon Gotch and who's the other one? He does commentary on Impact.
His first name's Matthew. It's Matthew.
Aiden English.
English. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, Matthew.
All right. Well, let's hear about the Outlaws or the Outcasts. Excuse me. Go from Jeff Jarrett to the Outcasts. Ruby Soho. I mean, again, you remember that story we had about a year ago about how WWE doesn't want matching names, and you've got Wheeler Yuta, you've got Cash Wheeler. I mean, they don't care about matching names at all. Poor Jim Ross is just going bonkers with all these same names over and over. Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, and Saraya. By the way, on A&E was Paige's biography as well. I wondered if they would touch on the sex tapes that had got leaked out, and they absolutely mentioned it, showed the tweets, showed the stuff, and it was part of her story. So I'm glad that the story went through that, and they got to a very healthy Saraya. No mention of AEW, of course, as they wanted, because it's a WWE produced show. Linda, your thoughts on the Outcast altogether and the Paige documentary? I know that you haven't got to it yet, but
I'm unique with the timing, considering Paige is, up front with the whole new faction and the leader of the new faction,
leading the women's division in AEW. So
right, and then all of a sudden on AEW, I'm sorry, A&E Legends, we see Paige being featured, and I'm like, huh. So it's interesting how some of these have kind of overlap with one another, coincidentally, what's the word? Opposite of coincidentally as well. Maybe like that whole, remember Jake the Snake when that came out, and then he came out on AEW television that week too. So kind of cool stuff though. It is great to see that blend, that interaction, obviously. Mm-hmm. But as far as the Outcasts, at first, we were talking about, is this just another mean girl kind of thing? But the more I see it, the more I'm liking it, because they're really, it is bringing more eyes to the women's division, which we want, right, on AEW, and now having another trio type faction doing something different.
Well, we have two women's stories going on right now. Unfortunately, against what Matthew likes, both of these women's stories have to do with the titles. So
yeah, but it's bringing more light to the women's division, which I think is good, and it helped Ruby was kind of in between, and now I see we see which side she's on, and I think having her on there was great to bring something extra with Paige and with Tony Storm.
Real quick touch on Rampage from Friday night. Obviously, it was delayed due to the end of the NCAA tournaments. I always had my DVR set for a half hour. I missed the finish. There's not really much to talk about there, but they are going to be live this Wednesday in Independence, Missouri at the Jeffrey Dahmer building. Wait a minute, that can't be right. The Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence, Missouri. Wow. If there was anything named after Jeff, you'd think it'd be in Milwaukee. Just kidding. The guy is gross. But when I see Dahmer, I'm from Milwaukee. That's the only thing I think of. Matthew, let's move into SmackDown. And honestly, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about the moment that we've waited. Since Sammy joined the Bloodline, we knew it was coming, that at some point maybe he would turn. Then when we saw Kevin going against the Bloodline, I wonder if they'll put the two of them together. We saw it go through SummerSlam. We saw it go through War Games. We saw it all the way up to the, Royal Rumble where Sammy turned on the Bloodline. Now, are we going to get Sammy and Kevin joined together? How did the Usos lose the belts? We've been waiting for a moment. Here's what we got. We got at the beginning of the show, Sammy and Kevin, facilitated by Cody, of course. He brought the two together. Talk it out. He goes, you know what? You said you don't even need to be my friend. Why don't you want to be my friend? You know what we hear? This is that storytelling, Linda and Matthew. This is that storytelling we've been talking about. It's that subtle little drop in there. Kevin's just been sitting there. He's hurt. His heart's been broken. And he's just waiting for something. The biggest piece, if you weren't paying attention, if you were just skimming through, was in the middle. Kevin driving off. Sammy saying, I love you. Kevin looking and just pulling off in his Charger. That was it right there. Matthew Thomas, let's talk about it. In the ring, after Sammy's attacked during his one-on-one with Jay, Kevin Owens saved the day.
Yeah, and the benefit of the storytelling is as long as Sammy and KO have been in the WWE, everybody has known what great wrestlers they were, what great, and I say wrestlers in ring and also on the mic, but I don't think you've ever had the investment in either one of them like you do right now. This whole Bloodline
White
story,
hot.
is giving you more investment in both of these two. Although I will say at the very end, I felt a little bit awkward with that cut to Cody backstage when he's watching.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit, you know what it reminded me of? It's kind of like, was it Clarence? Was that the angel on It's a Wonderful Life at the end when he's watching George Bailey and his family? Like
every time you hear a wrestling ring bell ring, you put two friends together. I mean,
and I want to see this continue to play out, though. I want Cody to kind of be like a matchmaker of bringing people together.
So instead of QTV like they have on AEW, we're going to have Cody TV, CTV.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the new tag
or CCTV, closed circuit television.
You're going to see Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart win the tag titles together.
We're going to get GTV back as well.
Yes, yes, we will.
Linda Kay, I know that you said that the section of your SmackDown got cut off. I have to ask, did you see the hug? Have you seen it at least on social media? Have you seen it on the IGs, on DirtySheets.com? Have you seen the hug?
No, I can be honest.
I've seen a lot of hugs on DirtySheets.com.
Oh, yeah. I was traveling a lot, and I'm just catching up on some work stuff right now, hopping right into this podcast here. So I am waiting to get that when I catch Raw tonight, where I actually get to watch Raw on my couch live, because I'll actually be home and just having my dinner and watching Monday Night Raw.
What are we eating tonight? What are you having? What's dinner?
I have some chicken breast that's currently marinated in Italian seasoning and dressing. I'm gonna make that with some Caesar salad. So.
Oh, I like a little lemon pepper on there. Maybe McCormick's lemon pepper.
I have it thawing in the fridge right now. But when I get to sit down and enjoy watching Monday Night Raw live from my couch tonight, I'm gonna watch the SmackDown recap and enjoy that moment that everyone's talking about. That's amazing.
So, I mean, we had other details come from SmackDown, but really this whole show was based on that. Here's one of the biggest details that we got. Gunther interrupts the match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus to determine number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So Scrap Daddy makes it official. It's a triple threat at WrestleMania. Linda, your thoughts on the triple threat for the IC's title? Almost said strap on.
Oh, well, absolutely thrilled. This is what we wanted. We wanted to see Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. There was no way just one of them was going to be facing Gunther at WrestleMania. You gotta involve the both of them, and I'm super excited for this. Gunther, huge title reign. I love him as the IC champion, but I don't know. If someone's gonna have a WrestleMania moment, this could be something for Sheamus or for Drew. I know it's not the World Championship. I know we always talk about how he didn't get that pop during COVID when he won the World Championship at Mania. However, this could be something where we keep something with Gunther. I think the fans like that too, and it's one of those things where that's his thing. Whereas Drew and Sheamus may not necessarily need that title right now, but you want that moment. You want that excitement.
We want moments. Hey, you know who's getting moments lately? Is L.A. Knight. Yeah, and Matthew, L.A. Knight's going up to Ray, says, "Hey, if your son doesn't want to wrestle you, how about I do? I get my L.A. moment with him." And then, got right in Ray's face. Ray's feeling very physical, just not towards his son, Dominic.
Yeah, and what I'm enjoying watching is the crowd reaction when we get LA Knight now.
Yeah.
It's starting to pick up, and there's been a video or two posted from house shows where there's a significant pop there. I know we were skeptical of the name of the music, but
I still don't like the name of the music. It's terrible.
I think he's starting to get over. I really do. And I think this is 2023, but I think post WrestleMania 2023 is going to be a big year for LA Knight.
Okay. Yeah. We got more movement towards Rhea and Charlotte. Rhea and Charlotte finally getting physical in the ring. And I don't know. I love me some Rhea Ripley. I can't help myself. I mean, Rhea Ripley is the one. We also got a great match between Xavier Woods and LA Knight with a loss, but I don't think the losses are affecting LA Knight, to be completely honest with you. I don't think the losses are hurting them one bit.
No, in the way that I think they're booking towards, basically an LA Knight. I don't know if it's going to be an open match or an open invitation at WrestleMania, but the story they're telling is this guy wants to be on the card at WrestleMania.
Because he's LA and it's in LA. Yeah.
We'll get a Stone Cold moment.
No, that's what the word on the street is. So I think this is building up to something there's been comparisons between him and you know who.
So it ain't gonna happen, Matthew. It's not gonna happen.
He beats let's see, after he beats Bobby Lashley,
Oh,
then he goes out and he appears again and confronts LA Knight.
No, not gonna happen. But you know what? LA Knight could just do an interview segment and somebody could confront him. I mean, technically, Rock doesn't need to be physical. It could come just do a rock bottom on him. But I tell you what, LA Knight is finally getting that shine that he should have gotten how many years ago when he was in NXT to begin with, showed up late to work at Triple H, let him go.
Yeah.
So, all right, that is the week that was for all of us here at PWR today. Linda, how do you think this week's going to go? You're home watching Raw tonight. What have you got going on the rest of the week?
I'm actually home all week, guys, but
What?
I am preparing because speaking of someone having an LA moment,
Yeah.
LK, Linda K, will be in LA for the WrestleMania festivities. So I'm taking this week to rest, recoup, get things packed. I mean, I can do that next week, but I am leaving.
It's going to be really warm down there. Are you hitting the beach at all? Are you going to be in the
I'm
Pacific Ocean?
I already mapped things out because I'm there for quite a while, and
Okay.
I want to do something I have not done in LA the many times I've been there. And that is go to a boardwalk. I've done the beaches, guys, but I need to just really do the board.
Find the dude
maybe I did do that
that
in
dressed like
once,
Jesus roller skating around. Find that guy around with the hair bun.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Lost Boys and going to the
Oh.
name of the town they made that was a play off Santa Carla thing. Or is it Carla Clarita? I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know.
I plan on doing some beaches, just doing the boardwalk, just in between all the wrestling stuff, kind of still mapping things out. But I'm happy to be home for the next week and a half.
Matthew Thomas, what do you got going on for the next week? Matthew, you're not making it to WrestleMania this year, correct?
Not this year. I may have to take a look at the WWE house show tickets and kind of see where they're at. Or you know what? I may have to go to that section of the WWE website and see if they can let some of the members of the press in there and get some hard-hitting interviews for PWR.
There you go. I've got nothing going on. We've got hopefully some viewing parties happening here in the Great North up in Wisconsin, Algonquin for Wisconsin. I don't have anything clever to say with that. So for Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you guys next week. So long, everyone.